Everyone. So, in continuation to the second video of our tutorial, where we are covering the AWS tutorial, here I'll be talking about the scenario before the cloud and the scenario after the cloud. Correct. So, before the cloud scenario, what was there? So, it was all on-prem center, and here we were talking about the online shoppings apps and the startups. Correct. So, just suppose that you are about to start your own startup, and you have an idea, you have written down the code, and you have to deploy it somewhere. Correct. So for the deployment of your mobile application, deployment of your web application, or the any services what you have created, correct, you need some infrastructure where the servers, the memory, the cpu, and other required infrastructure, correct, the data centers, so where you can deploy your services, and you can store the data as well, the read kind of data, the write kind of, so whatever the transactions are happening, all those kind of data, you have to store it, correct. So for that, you had to go with all the infrastructure creation, and the not even the creation, you have to procure this that infrastructure, you have to purchase all those components from the market itself. And even if you just suppose that you have started your own business, and you see that there are 100 number of users which are coming to your market, correct, and all of a sudden on the weekday, or like for the 100 number of users, you have set up the infrastructure and everything is working very fine, correct. Then just on the Saturday and Sunday, you saw that people are free, or there is any festival or something kind of thing, and all of a sudden the number of traffics, the peak traffic increases on the holidays or the weekends, correct, there is a sale or something. So the number of users which are who are logging into your platform, that becomes 100 to 10,000. So there is a sudden spike, or even 100 to 1 lakh of users, correct. So it's a sudden spike in your traffic, and this sudden spike in your traffic cannot be handled by the infrastructure which were there before, correct. So now you have to manage the infrastructure, correct. You have to procure the few more infrastructure, you have to route the traffic there as well. So what are all the things will happen here? You will be procuring the infrastructure, you will go to the market. So there will be multiple team, there will be multiple people engaged in all these activity. You will go to the market, you will purchase that, you will come back to your office, you will set up all this infrastructure. So there will be a team, dedicated team to set up the infrastructure, there will be a dedicated team to purchase the infrastructure, there will be a dedicated team to decide how much infrastructure is required, so that what kind of infrastructure we need to purchase at the runtime. Then there will be a dedicated team who will manage the infrastructure which has been set up, correct, and the monitor. So there will be multiple teams engaged, and there is one more overhead here, that you have to plan everything in the future for the sudden increase in the load or for sudden decrease in the load, correct. You have to plan everything in the future. So what if you have gone from 10 CPU to 100 number of CPU you have purchased, correct, and that you are utilizing for sudden increase in the load. Then after 5 days you see that now you have only 110 users. So those extra number of CPU what you had purchased from the market, that is of no use right now, correct. So even if you procure the infrastructure for the high load, for the peak load, but when the load is not peak, you don't have to use that, correct. So for at that particular time, there is a wastage of your infrastructure what you have procured, correct, the low infrastructure utilization is there. Then the challenges which are there, needs ahead of time planning. Then high cost of procuring an infrastructure, that's the one challenge. Second challenge, needs ahead of time planning. Third, low infrastructure utilization. For this, dedicated infra maintenance team as well, correct. So a startup who are like, if you are thinking, or if I'm thinking of starting my own business, and where I'm going with the one of the idea, I have just launched the services. So before launching my services, I have to procure all the infrastructure, I have to arrange that particular team to set up, correct. I might be expert in coding, but I might not be expert in setting up all the wires, all the CPU, all the memory related, those hard disk and all those things, correct. I might not be expert in that, so I will require those resources as well. This is the scenario which were there before, on the on prem side before the cloud. So just checking on all the challenges, some of the organization thought of that why don't we come up with a solution where we can implement the rental things, just like the flat or the any property kind of thing. You come, like if you are a working professional or if you are looking for a job, you are, just suppose that you are in Delhi NCR and you are moving to Bangalore or the Mumbai, correct? So you don't go there, you just don't purchase complete flat or the building, you just go there, you pay the rent for that particular flat, and you stay for 1 year or 2 year, depends on your requirement, and you just come back once your job has been changed from there as well, correct? So you just rent those things for a certain period of time. So the similar kind of thing the organizations thought of, that we should also we should also implement that kind of model where the infrastructure can be rented, correct? Then your different cloud providers comes into the picture: the AWS one, the leading one, the Microsoft Azure, the Oracle, the Salesforce, the Google Cloud, the Alibaba, the IBM Cloud. So all these vendors, the cloud providers, came into the picture where they created the multiple services. At the back end, these cloud providers were also using the actual infrastructure, correct? The all those data centers, all those hardwares, the CPU, the memory, the data, the other data centers, the wires and all those, correct? So these cloud providers are also using the same thing, but for you, like you, if you are the end user, for you, you will be utilizing the services which will be kind of virtual for you, correct? So just suppose that if I have to launch this server of 1 GB memory and 1 core of CPU, so that 1 GB core CPU and 1 GB of memory server will be launched somewhere on a physical machine, which will be having 100 GB or more than 100 GB of resources, correct? But I will be just getting 1 GB out of that, and I will be paying for that only. I don't have to go for 100 GB and all. So ultimately, these virtual or the cloud systems are also being launched on the actual physical machines only. But for you, it's pay as you go model, correct? Or you will be just using all these things virtually, and it will be based on demand, correct? So if you can see the first pointer, that is on demand resource provisioning. So when you require, you just click on few buttons, and infrastructure is ready for you to deploy your services. Then on demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay as you go pricing. That means if I'm using the servers just for 2 minutes, I'll be paying for only 2 minutes. I will not be paying for more than 2 minutes, correct? Initially, if you purchase one time, it's one time investment. You will have to keep that, correct? Or you can resell it. But here, the moment you use, the moment you pay, correct? You don't have to go for any other things. So these cloud providers came into the picture due to these challenges. Now moving forward, what are what are the advantages of this cloud? Like when it came to the picture, what are the advantages? So the first advantage is stop spending money on running data centers. Now you don't have to think about running your data center. So if you are not running the data center, you just save your cost, and that's a cost you can invest in your marketing and in any other sector to hire resources, the perfect engineers and other staffs, correct? Then go global in minutes, that's the second point. Go global in minutes, that means the cloud providers provide you the to launch the services into multiple regions, correct? So if you work with the AWS cloud, you will see that there are multiple regions available. Your AP South one, the Mumbai region, the London region, the Singapore, or the Ohio, the North Virginia. There are multiple London region. The multiple regions are available where you can launch your services, and you can be available globally within a minute, correct? So that's the second point. The third point is increase speed and agility. Like if your number of traffic increases, correct, you are going with 100 number of users, and all of a sudden your traffic increases from 100 to 10,000 number of users, then cloud providers gives you the facility to increase the number of servers dynamically based on the number of based on the number of requests which are coming to your services, correct? So the moment traffic will start increasing, the moment at the same moment the server number of servers will start increasing, correct? So the traffic which are coming to one server will start getting distributed to another servers as well, and that that will not down your performance, correct? Because the number of traffic is getting distributed, so ultimately the performance of the application, the performance of the services will be high. So that kind of speed increases the application performance, the application speed increases, correct? So that feature the cloud provides. Then stop guessing capacity. That's the 4 point. You don't have to think about the future. The moment you will require the number of the servers, the number of services, you can click on that. You can get it. So you don't have to think about the future, that what kind of infrastructure we will require, how many number of items I have to purchase, those kind of things. Then fifth point is benefit from massive economies of scale. So whatever the number of servers, the services you increase, the moment in the your utilization has been done, the you can scale down as well. So either you scale up or the scale down, you can save the cost in both way. If you scale, like if you require only 5 number of servers, you will just scale 5, you will be utilizing that, you will be paying that, and after that you can just scale down. So you will save the cost as well, because now you are not utilizing, so that will save your cost as well. Moving forward, what is AWS? Like basically, we are talking about the AWS here only. So it's Amazon Web Services, leading cloud service provider in the market right now, and it has more than 200 plus services. So AWS provides the multiple services for your basic application deployment like BPC, EC2, RDS, SNS, SES, CloudWatch, IAM role policy. So the AWS has multiple services available, and it also provides you the services for the AI, ML. It also provides you the services for the IoT. It also provides services for the your ETL processes, so like where you can work with the data, you can train your data, correct. So for that thing, the AWS provides them multiple services. It's reliable, secure, and cost effective. And the model what the cloud adopts, that's pay only for what you use, pay as you go model. That is the actual term which is called here, correct. These are the kind of data centers in the Mumbai. So that you can see that these are the kind of components which are there. So this was all the picture before the cloud, or it's the running actual the data centers of the AWS as well. If you were before this cloud, even you will have to set up this kind of infrastructure if you get into the on-prem kind of thing, correct. So in this particular video, we'll be talking about this much only, and moving forward, we'll be talking more in the third video of our tutorial on the AWS, correct. So till the time, thank you, bye bye.